Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to the first solution video for homework assignment 1 for 154. In this video, I'm just going to run through what we were thinking or our logic when trying to code the program. You'll see there's many different ways that a program can be coded, but I'm going to show you my preferred way as well as the way that we showed you, or using the code that we showed you in class rather. So let's just go ahead and open Visual Studio. Okay, and create a new project. Okay, always remember to give your project a suitable name. So in this case, it can be homework 154 assignment assignment 01 underscore student number. Windows Form application, Visual C#, that's all good. I'm going to leave it to save in the default location. Okay, and here we are. So first things first is I'm going to dock my toolbox, just because I want to be able to use all the controls as necessary. Then let's go take a look at the homework. So we've got to create the following form with the appropriate controls. So I see 4 buttons, a label that is invisible at the start of the program, and it says here 4 picture boxes on top of each other over here. So let's get those controls on our form. Okay, so 4 buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 picture boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a label. Okay, now let's go back to here and make this a bit bigger and lay them out nicely. So let's get all these picture boxes the exact same size. You can go to the size property of the picture box, copy this, and paste it over here. You could also place this one at the exact same location there and just drag it. Either way works. Okay, now we got our 4 picture boxes all on top of each other over here. Next we'll do the buttons. Again, let's just get them a bit bigger and all the same size. And space them out nicely. And then lastly is the label. But that's fine. Okay, and let's go take a look again. So it says here, name the form tree seasons. Okay, so now we're going to name our form. So we got to make sure that we're focused on or clicked on the form control. We're done with the toolbox. Now I've added all the controls, so I'm going to undock this just for some extra space. And we're working with the properties. So, name the form tree seasons. So we clicked on the form, now we're going to find the property name. We scroll down till we see it. Where is it? Up there it is. Oh yeah, so we got to name it. Oh yeah, so let's go ahead and name it. FRM for the control form, tree seasons. Okay, and then we also gotta get our text to display like this. You see in the question paper it says tree seasons on the form. In our form it still says form 1. So we gotta find the property text. Down, Here we go. Okay, and we're going to change this to tree seasons. Oh yeah, and then next it says here hint to set the start position property to center screen on the form's properties for easier testing. So let's just go ahead and set start position to center screen. Now all that means is when you run it, the form will, once it eventually gets there, form will open up in the middle of the screen. It won't open up at the top left or something. It just makes it easier to test it. Oh yeah, so what's next? This button should be named BTN Summer and should display the text Summer. When clicked, the text should change to the color yellow and the summer tree should display. Okay, so there's a lot of information here. Let's break it down. The first thing is we've got to name the button BTN Summer. So let's click our button, this one rather, and find the name. Change it to BTN Summer. Notice the text doesn't change over here because we're changing the name, not the text. See, it still says button 2. Now we should make it display the text summer. So let's find text, here we go, and say summer. There we go. Now our button looks like their button. Next we can do the same for autumn. We will leave the coding till later. I prefer designing everything first and then going to the code. So we'll design all these buttons appropriately and then we'll move on to what should happen when they're clicked, i.e. the coding section. So let's just go for button 3, should be called BTN autumn. And the text should display autumn. Button 4 is winter, so BTN winter. And the text should be winter. Lastly is button 1 should be BTN spring. And the text should display spring. Okay, so we've done that, we've done this one. Okay, so now let's see what it says here. The label's initial text should be set to nothing. This is these characters, notice there's nothing in between there, so it should be blank. That's why we can't see the label when you run the program. That's how we want it to run. So hint, that's why it isn't visible on the startup of the application. This text changes colors according to the button pressed. Okay, so we can go over here. We can firstly give it a good name, LBL caption. And we can make its text blank. There we go. Now it is not visible when we run the program. See, you can't see the label anymore. Okay. And lastly, for the design part, there are 4 picture boxes, each displaying trees in different seasons. The picture boxes are set behind one another and are the same size. So let's firstly get the tree images into the program. So I've got my tree images downloaded as a zip, but you'll notice if I try to find it on my desktop, let me go do that quickly. Image. Where is image? Here it is. Okay, so if I go try import, go to my desktop, nothing pops up. So that's because we haven't unzipped the folder yet. So we go right click and just say extract all. That's perfectly fine. If you don't have Windows 10, you can just use 7-zip and say extract all here. Here's my tree images. Now when I go back to Visual Studios, here we go, and I say imports, I say desktop, I can go tree images, and I can select one. So I'm not going to import them yet because I haven't defined which picture box should have which image of the tree. So I'm going to first say picture box 1, just to be the same as the buttons, can be named PBX spring, you'll notice I go up here instead of clicking on the form. So because they're all on top of each other, I can only select the one that's on top, which would be picture box 4. So instead I can go up here. These are all the controls that are on this form. I can find the control that I'm looking for, in this case picture box 2, and change its name, PBX. What is this one? Summer. And then I can just keep doing that until they're all finished. PBX autumn. You'll notice now that I've changed the name of it over here, there's no more picture box 3, 2, and 1. There's only 4 left, which I'm about to change. PBX winter. Okay, so that's sorted now. So now I can select one of the picture boxes. I'll start off with autumn, and I can give it an image. So I select image, I say project resource file, import, find the autumn tree, this one, and say open and OK. Done. Then I can select the next one, spring, image file, just repeat the process. Summer. And winter, last one. Import winter, okay. So now, because winter was on the top, it's displaying. So you'll notice that it doesn't quite display nicely. It's cutting off half the image. So what I can do is I can select all the picture boxes, and I've got all 4 picture boxes selected because I highlighted over them all. Up, now I've highlighted over the label. We just want the picture boxes, and then I can find the image. No, wait, not the image, the size mode, and change it from normal to stretch image. Now it fits into the picture box. It will be a bit stretched. If you don't want to do that, you could also, if I just Control Z here, resize your picture box to fit the image, but then you got to do it for all of them accordingly. So it would just be easy in this case to stretch the images so they fit nicely. Let's just run our application again to check that everything's working. No errors occur. So the buttons don't do anything, but the design and the layout is all perfectly fine now. So now we can move on to coding. Okay, so we've gotten our form to look just like theirs, and now we just need to make the application do what they've asked us for. Okay, let's see, note the difference between a button's name and text. A name will be used to refer to the variable when coding. I noticed a lot of people were getting confused between name and text during the class, so it would be important to make sure that everybody understands this before the next class or before the next practical. Oh yeah. We got to give our label the appropriate name, LBL caption. I did that once, LBL caption. We got to change its text to the various words according to which button is pressed. Oh yeah, and then we got to change color. Oh yeah, so let's start with the spring button. Double click on it to bring up the click event handler over here. Get rid of properties now. So here is the click event handler for our spring button. So when spring button is clicked, let's just check, this button should be named. When clicked, the text should change to the color pink and the spring tree should display. You can scroll down to here and note that the button's label text changes to pink. So we gotta get the button, this button over here, to change its text color to pink. So we gotta refer to that button, which would be BT and spring, which is what we named it. We got to get its text color so that it's front color, not its back color, for color, to equal to a new color, which would be pink in our case. So now we can just go ahead and test if that works. It works. Okay. Next, we got to make the pink tree appear, or rather the spring tree appear. So we got to make PBX spring, we can bring it to the front. Yeah, let's go ahead and check that. There we go, it now appears. Another way you can do this is you can go, it's a couple extra lines of code, but it will do just the same thing. We can make winter, not PBX spring, sorry, PBX winter dot visible is equal to false. We can say PBX summer dot visible equal to false. PBX autumn dot visible is equal to false. So now what we've done here is we've decided to hide the other 3 picture boxes when we click button spring, and by hiding the others, spring will become visible. There we go. If, for example, spring is hidden because you hit it in by clicking a previous button, you want to just make sure that it becomes visible. So you go PBX spring dot visible is equal to true. In our case, the spring tree was already visible, so it's not adding much this line of code. So you can see we are achieving the same outcome. The spring tree is coming up using different lines of code. The only reason this occurs is because in our case, in this scenario, the images are all on top of each other. If they weren't on top of each other, say this one was there, there, and there, then you would have to set one to be visible and one not to be visible. Okay. Seeing as this is the method that you guys were taught in class in the practical, I'll continue to use this method with the visible property. But yeah, just be aware that you can also just go PBX spring dot bring to front, dot bring to front. That will work as well. But yeah, I'll continue to use the methods that you guys were taught. It's also always good to include some comments so as that the other programmers know, or rather, as well as you rather, know what you were thinking when you were coding this. So to add comments, you just use 2 forward slashes and then type in what you want to say or leave as a note. So in this case, I want to tell people what I was doing in this line of code, which would be change the color of the text to pink. Hide the other picture boxes and display the spring picture box. There we go. So now when you come look at your code at a later stage, you won't have to try and figure out what you have done. You can just read your comments to see what each line of code does. Comments are lines of code that the executor won't execute. They're just there for a programmer's purpose. So the program won't run this line. It's just going to skip straight over it and go to this line. That being said, if we comment out this line, you'll notice that our button doesn't turn to pink anymore because, like I said, a comment gets ignored by the executor. If we make it not a comment anymore, it will change to pink. Okay, so that's the spring button done. Oh, no, wait. We still got to change the labels text as well as color to pink and buzzing bees. So let's go. We got to refer to the control, in this case LBL caption. We got to refer to its text property. So .text should be equal to something. In this case, buzzing bees. Buzzing bees. Okay. So we can just add ourselves a comment over here, which will say changes the labels text. Let's run it. There we go. It's not quite the same now. So now notice this one's a bit bigger font and also pink, so let's go fix that. So in all scenarios the font is the same size, it's just the color that changes. So because the font is the same size, we can go over here, select the label, we can open up the properties window, we can go to the font, we can change its size to, we'll say 16, make it bold as well. Okay, let's take a look if that looks a bit better. Yeah, that's about the same. We can move it across a bit, but yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. Now we just need to change it to pink. Okay, so again, referring to LBL caption, and then we're referring to its for color, and we say is equal to a new color, in this case pink again. Pink. And give ourselves a comment saying changes the label's text color. There we go, and that looks exactly like theirs. So now the spring button is complete. Next we can move on to the summer button. Okay, so our summer button will be much the same as this, just instead of spring it's gonna be summer. So let's start off with changing the button's color, BTN summer in this case, because that's the button that we're going to refer to. Dot for color again to look at change the front text color is equal to color dots. What does it tell us? The yellow. There we go. Then we gotta change. We gotta hide all the other picture boxes. We have PBX spring dot visible is equal to false. So it is not visible anymore. Same with PBX autumn dot visible is equal to false. And lastly is PBX winter dot visible is equal to false. Now we've hidden all the others, but we still gotta make summer visible. So we have PBX summer dot visible is equal to false. Oh, no. That's just gonna hide it. We're gonna make it equal to true. So then we gotta, what do we gotta do here? Note labels text changes and the color changes. And spring button changes back to black. Okay. So firstly we gotta change the text to say hot. So we go LBL caption dot text is equal to hot. And we say LBL caption dot for color is equal to color dot yellow. So we've changed the text as well as the color, but now we've also got to change our spring button back to black. Okay, so we are BTN spring, because that's the button we want to change its color, dot for color is equal to color dot black. Now, because we've done a bit more coding, we can go and test it out to see if it works. Okay, so click spring, changes to spring, font changes, color changes. We click to summer, picture changes, font changes, all looking good. But now, you'll notice if we click back to spring, the summer button doesn't go back to black. So we need to include that line of code. So we go btn summer dot for color is equal to color dot black. So we just say changes the summer button text color. Cool. Now we can move on to the next button. What is it going to be? Autumn. So it's going to be much the same again. btn autumn dot for color is equal to, let's go take a look what color it needs to be. It needs to be orange, is equal to color dot orange, color dot orange. Done. We gotta change we gotta hide all the other picture boxes. PBX spring dot visible is equal to false. PBX, no, not autumn, summer dot visible is equal to false, and PBX winter dot visible is equal to false. We gotta make the autumn one visible, so PBX autumn dot visible is equal to true. We gotta change the text of the label. LBL caption dot text is equal to leaves are fallen. We gotta change the color of the label, so for color is equal to orange, color dot orange. And we're gonna make sure that summer and spring both go to black. So we go btn summer dot for color is equal to color dot black, and same with btn spring dot for color is equal to color dot black. There we go. Let's go test it again. There's gonna be an error if I try click autumn first. That all works. If I go back to summer, it doesn't change autumn's button. Neither of them do. So now we're going to add that code. So over here we say btn autumn dot for color is equal to color dot black. And over here we have the exact same line of code. You'll notice I've stopped doing comments over here, but that's because essentially everything that happens in the spring button is the same for summer and autumn. It's just different buttons appear, or rather different buttons color changes. It's all the same code. So you can see first I changed the button's color, then I changed the visibility of the other picture boxes, then I changed the visibility of the picture box I want, then I changed the label, then I changed the other button's colors. So it's all following the same sort of pattern. Same pattern over here. So now we're looking like we're onto our last button, which will be winter. So we can go btn winter dot for color is equal to color. What did they ask us for? Cadet blue. Okay, for color dot cadet blue. PBX summer dot visible is equal to false. PBX no, not winter autumn dot visible is equal to false, and PBX spring dot visible is equal to false. Next we need to make winter available. PBX winter dot visible is equal to true. Next we got to change the label, the caption. LBL caption dot text is equal to, what is that? And LBL caption dot for color is equal to color dot cadet blue. Okay, last thing is we'll need to change all these buttons back to black. So btn summer dot for color is equal to color dot black. Same with btn spring dot for color is equal to color dot black, and btn autumn dot for color is equal to color dot black. Okay, but now we haven't ever changed winter to be black again, so we just gotta add that. btn winter dot for color is equal to color dot black, and we can add this line of code in all the other button clicks. Now we can go and test our program. So we click spring, goes to spring, changes caption as well as color, summer, autumn, and winter. And our program does exactly what they've asked us to. So we've read all the instructions and we've ensured that our design looks the same as their design. as well as everything that each button should do actually occurs.